The immortal John Hancock here, and today I'm honored to share something truly unique. It's terrible and weird and everything all above, and so it connects a unreleased video game to a store display of a contest of a game that never came out. That's right. And I'm talking about Baby's Day Out. And this is a terrible movie. And, you know, it was written by John Hughes. Now, John Hughes, if you don't know, he made many, many classic 80s movies as well as Home Alone. And so, it's important to note that Baby's Day Out was just a really bad movie. And there was going to be 3 video games connected to the movie. Now, what probably happened was they saw the success of Home Alone and they were going to make some video games connected to this movie. Well, the movie tanked in the United States, and there was 3 formats of the video game that were supposed to come out. It was Game Boy, Sega Genesis, and Super Nintendo. Now, there is a near complete ROM of the Sega Genesis released publicly, and I'm not going to show gameplay footage in this video, but you can find that online on YouTube. There was a Game Boy cartridge sold a few years back on eBay, and it hasn't surfaced publicly, crossing fingers that it's been dumped. But this is not surfaced anywhere, and so this is essentially a standee in which the second place prize was you could win one of the video games. And ironically, the game was canceled, so I think it's kind of funny. So anyways, I'd like to showcase this and, you know, show it on film, kind of what was surfaced. This comes from my good friend Corey of Classics and Oddities. He donated it, and I really thank him for that. And he found this in a person's home who had a bunch of other memorabilia and stuff that was just essentially just like rotting. And so you just never know what's out there. And I wanted to show this on my channel, so let's check it out. Alright, so here's the standee, and it's in 3 parts that I have. There may be another part, but I don't think so. I think it's complete. And so what it was is you essentially could enter this contest by finding Baby Bink in this kind of Where's Waldo kind of thing. It's really cool. It's got a lot of great artwork. I wanted to show this. And I'm going to show the entry form when I'm done here. It's pretty cool. So that's one piece of the cardboard. The other one is this Baby Bink holding out this, and the contest entry forms are nowhere to be found. So it, you know, this we don't, you know, there's unknown if this was actually used. It, you know, it looks in used shape. It was packed away in storage for, you know, over 20 years. And so I just think that's really cool. So I'm going to take this off and see if I can get a closer look at the contest and want to explain. Alright, here's what the official contest rules are. For the first prize, the grand prize is a trip to Florida, Chicago. Ooh. First prize is one of 450 copies of the game on 3 different formats: Game Boy, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. And you have to find Where's Baby Bink and this kind of Where's Waldo kind of cityscape. So I thought that was really interesting. You know, again, this is something that's pretty odd. It's in pretty good shape. You know, there's not any major rips or tears. Again, it's been in storage for a long time. I just wanted to show it. Can you find Baby Bink? So yeah, there you have it. What do you think? It's pretty interesting, huh? And you know, this is probably displayed possibly at, you know, a video rental store. I could see it, you know, you see this at like a mom and pop video store. I've never seen this. I've talked to some other mega collectors, some people in Nintendo age. They've never seen this before. This has never been documented. So I am going to get that documented, and I'm working with a person so that it can be scanned. And it was going to happen this last PRGE, but I forgot to bring it. So the game plan is to possibly bring it next year. And so I think it's truly unique. You know, there's people out there that collect this stuff, and you know, everybody's got their thing. I think it's really cool. This does need to be preserved, at least with photographs and video, and that's why I wanted to have it on my channel. And I think that goes important to unreleased video games. Now, I get collectors that don't want to release their prototype ROMs because it affects their value. I understand that, but keep this in mind. You need to still back up your ROMs. Multiple places, multiple people need to have archived these unreleased prototypes, because you know, collectors, especially now as time goes on, pass away suddenly. And what happens when someone has collected an unreleased ROM and poof, they die, and then someone who's maybe a non-gamer takes over the collection, doesn't know that the ROMs are unreleased. I'm truly a believer that things need to be backed up and archived. I understand that people don't want to, you know, devalue their collection, but I'm coming from the perspective of preservation. And so, you know, there's a Game Boy version of this game out there, and it's terrible, but it needs to be archived. You know, so whoever won it on eBay, hopefully they've archived it. You know, you don't have to dump it to the public to play, but it'd be cool. But you know, I get that. And then there's a Super Nintendo version of this game that's somewhere out there that hasn't been dumped either. So it'd really be cool to see that someday. Even though it's terrible, you know, those are the type of gems that you know, people like to talk about and play. And I get it, you know, as a collector, but you know, the preservationist side of me wants to see that and wants those things to be backed up. You know, we're going to have a whole digital age of games that's going to be harder to have it archived because everything's online. And so the things that we can save and we can archive, we need to do that. And so, yeah, that's a long ramble. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for people supporting me doing these videos. I had a lot of fun with this one. I've been sitting on it since October. And so it was really nice to pull it out of my other game room and show it on the channel. So anyways, I'm still doing 3 videos a week. I do an exclusive video if you're part of my patron supporters. You know, for as little as $1 a month, you can get an exclusive video. Thank you so much. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. This is the Immortal John Hancock. You take care.